Pulled a long night last night. It was really productive. Hopefully the rest of the weekend will go that well, and this is gonna be done in no time. So the next step was to take this floor and set it in place, and the directions say you may need to trim it in places. I just want to say Cub Crafters did a great job on this floor. I mean, it lines up everywhere. It's trimmed beautifully. So there might be one little tiny spot I might trim around this weld here, but other than that, all the holes line up, and yeah, pretty cool. So give props on that. I need to trim this back just a tiny bit so that it's flush with this tube here, because it's where the firewall goes. But other than that, this floor is money. Yeah, so I'm installing the heat duct insulation for the heat duct for the airplane. It's this aluminized insulation, like a heat blanket. And kind of funny, I just took the backing off the one I just put on here, and that backing's see-through. So I used that to trace out the template to cut this one so that I can install the stuff here accurately. You can see this is the mark out where I need to put the insulation. And then the glue goes here to glue this on the heat duct. Yeah, little quick tip there. Okay, heat duct's glued in place. As a home builder, I guess you use whatever you have, including your impact driver and your wife's aerobics weights. Don't tell her I'm using those, but yeah, I got the insulation in there for the heat duct, and it's glued down. My focus really is the fuselage tubes that go through here along these line of holes, and I wanted to make sure that was the most flat in here. But yeah, there it is. That'll cure, flip that over, and then we'll start putting parts on the floor. Okay, so now we gotta wait for the methylcrylate glue to cure up. So while we're doing that, I guess we'll go over and set this false spar on this wing so we can get that going. Okay, the heat duct's on, heat shield's in. The wife's aerobic weights worked out good with my clamps. I did the flashlight test, shine light in the edges, no gaps or leaks in the glue. So yeah, it turned out great. And for reference, this is the other side where the heat comes out here. So you can see the aluminized heat shield in there. I'm gonna trim back some of these fibers just to clean it up a little bit. But yeah, on to the next step. So here's the floor pan of the airplane. Pretty neat piece. Looks like a lot of the drilling and machining is already done. It's some kind of carbon material with maybe a gel coat on top. I'm not sure what it's made out of, but it's really lightweight. Seems fairly strong. The heat duct come out of here, we showed you earlier. This is the seat base for the pilot seat, but also the battery box and the ELT will go in here. You can see it's formed for pulleys, and the torque tube for the controls will go through here. So you have a stick back here for the co-pilot and a stick up here for the pilot. So now we'll begin assembling this piece beyond the heat duct that we already did. Before I show you what we did, we had a present come yesterday. The last lift strut showed up. As you can see, Cub Crafters does a really nice job of creating these parts. So we got the lift strut that was on back order, showed up, and then also the brake calipers. And then I started working on this wing. I got the trailing edge rib that I needed. And so I started installing this false spar, and I got the flap area false spar installed, riveted in the spots that it's supposed to be riveted at. But I had to stop because, so you can see how tight these areas are. I don't have a drill that'll fit in there, so I special ordered one. It'll be here, sounds like next Thursday, and then we can continue on the wing. But what we did last night was get this floor in place. Okay, as you can see, we got the floor in place with the control stick, torque tube here, and the rudder stop, and the the aileron stop, and the rudder pedals, along with the rudder return springs, and the master cylinders for the brake, and the heel pads for the pilot. Got the seat base hardware in. Everything's marked as torqued and torque sealed, and all the screws are in the floor. I match drilled these back holes for the extended baggage compartment. I just wanted to give you a quick view of that before we started running fuel lines. That's our next project in the manuals, to get the fuel lines going. But yeah, coming along pretty good, putting a lot of work in. Big help if you use one of these tools to if I can get it to focus. Dremel tool with a bit that you can scarf out the holes so that you don't mess up the threads with the drill bit. And also your hole finder is pretty handy for match drilling these holes. And then we got the holes drilled for the seat belts back here as well. And these are for the seat base little clamps. I did end up scratching the floor in a couple spots, unfortunately, but it is a bush plane and our feet are going to be in here, so it will get scuffed up more than it looks now. But yeah, these beautiful parts, really, really beautiful parts. Went really smoothly. Pretty cool. This rotisserie has been a big, huge help for being able to tip it over and get to all these bolts on the bottom side. Much easier. Got our heat duct in there. Pretty cool. All right, on to the fuel system.